Welcome to the live stream of consciousness.
Yes, dude, we should. You know what? I just thought of. We should practice beforehand. You do one note, hello, and I do another note, hello, and we do like a chord together.
So we can be like one of the hello.
No. Just like we both come on and go hello, and it's like
welcome to the live stream of consciousness. You like that? That'd be good. I like that. We have crazy fans and supporters. We were here early, like testing my computer because something was going on last week, and I wanted to get to the bottom of it. And 4:30, we had a woot woot from Taylor McKinnon in the chat. I'm like, you're a little early.
Sage is out.
How's it going? Nice to see you guys. I'm really excited, to have on our guest Sinderrella. And actually, real quick, we should talk about, we released our calendar for the next 2 months last week. And
yes, I was going to put it up as a graphic.
Yeah, here, put it up real quick. And, next week coming, we've got my friend Johnny Nall, who's a musician and a psychic. Johnny's a really cool guy. He's a former police sergeant, and I think you'll all be very, very interested to hear different things he has to say. And then we've got my friend Mackenzie Wardrobe, who's a fan of the show.
Now my friend,
a real Mackenzie's one of my great friends, but she has really supported the show and been, listening from the beginning. And much like, me and Michael will say the same thing. We were talking about this before the show. Doing the show has just kind of kept us both honest with our own spiritual growth and being conscious, and we feel like we're practicing what we preach more and more because we're having to kind of own up to it week after week, and
being inspired by it.
Exactly. And Mackenzie has been inspired by the things that we've been talking about, and it has led her down a number of different paths that she never would have tried before.
Stories,
and she's got some great stories, especially relating to her kids and helping them. They have special difficulties, special needs, and she has been having a lot of success with things that you might not imagine you would. So we're really excited to have her on at the end of the month. And then the beginning of next month, I got my brother Cody's fiance Tanya, who we talked about a little bit while Cody was on the show. Tanya has had many experiences with extraterrestrials, and she is really excited to come on and talk about some of her experiences.
I started looking her up, and it was cool.
And then my buddy Sean Nichols, who's a vocalist and producer, with me and my girl Julie and my best friend Aaron Sparrow just helped him shoot a new music video for
that. Looked like a lot of fun.
Album. I'm hoping it'll be out by that time so we can play some clips and forward you guys over to check it out. But Sean is he doesn't necessarily call himself spiritual, but he is within the realm of a very conscious.
Well, when I met him, immediately we started talking about numerology, and
exactly, and
he was like really knowledgeable, like.
He is very knowledgeable. And we're going to talk to him a little bit about that and just a little bit about his journey to consciousness, because I know that while he probably wouldn't describe himself as spiritual, he would describe himself as a conscious person, and and how he's come to that, I think is the same journey that we're all talking about here. And then maybe you want to take it for July 15th. We got Anna Miranda coming.
Anna Miranda, she's a we have her as an intuitive specialist, and she actually works with the Akashic an astrologer. She works with the Akashic records and soul contracts. So she's very in tune with being able to tell you kind of, what certain paths are supposed to be, or looks like, you would do good in certain areas. She actually has created some programs where she uses astrology, to help people who are starting businesses, because she helps them understand what their strengths are, and she's awesome to talk to. I mean, the guests that I have on my side of the camp are just amazing conversation. That's really what the show is all about. So
and it's really cool because it'll be a 1-2 punch with my sister Cheyenne coming at the end of the month. Cheyenne is a student of astrology, and she's like, oh, I don't know that much, but at the same time, she has a lot of really amazing things that she's been discovering about herself and about people as she's been studying these things, and as I've been speaking to her. Very very interesting. And of course, her spiritual journey, she's worked with ayahuasca as well, like my other siblings, and has a lot of really interesting experiences and things that have come from that. So I'm really interested to have her on. And of course, Christopher Allen right before her, who is a psychic medium. We had Christopher on before. I really like Chris. He has a lot of cool things to say, so we're going to pick his brain.
Actually, he's on fire lately. He's been doing a lot of social media stuff, and he goes online live and he reads people online. Like, people are in the chat and starting to see, and he'll say, I'm seeing something about somebody who was working with brain disease or something, and he'll start talking, and that's how he does his readings. And man, he's just been his live broadcasts have like hundreds of people. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, that's amazing, and I'm so honored to have him on. And we should say, you see, Shy is a designer in the footsteps of my mother, and she's been kicking ass as like kind of an Insta queen, making so many limited run bags and different outfits. And Taylor McKinnon apparently just arrived in the mailbox. She got some her Shy Snyder originals. So we got famous.
We're gonna wait until we bring Shy on to show those pictures. I think, Taylor. But
so, and me and Michael are already booking into the next month, and when we get to the end of this month, we'll release our next calendar. But we're really excited. So beyond promoting for the future, how was your week, my friend? How's things?
I'm gonna have to say phenomenal. I actually had a phenomenal week.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, and I think I intended to have a phenomenal week. I had a rough couple of weeks because of my knee injury. I'd hurt my knee, and it was just really, I was in so much pain, and it was just hard to function, and it really affected my demeanor. I wasn't mean to anybody, but I just didn't want to look anybody in the eye or talk to anyone. And I was going through a bunch of different things, transitioning to this new job. I've been talking about it, and
what up, Ninja Kitty?
What's up, Ninja Kitty? The first couple of days at this new place was amazing. It was just this past week, Monday and Tuesday, I was doing things with my brain creatively that I haven't done in a long time, as far as even simple logo designs, just really going deep into what I was designing a logo for and how to show that with simple things. And the stuff that I'm doing over there is just so challenging. I love it. It's amazing. When I get to show it, it'll be great. And then the other thing is I've been so busy, but my buddy Steve Sage, we've been talking to Steve. We got on the crew to actually, totally separate from our relationship, film your dad's show on Friday. So I got my laminate and I'm ready to go film the show. And through that, I was asked to create some graphics that are going to go on the LED screen behind him, which is, on a normal occasion, it might be a minor thing, oh, cool, a show, some graphics, whatever. But this thing's getting filmed and going to be streamed, and it's the release of his album. And it's like, man, I am so grateful. I am so grateful for just being me.
The album's really good. I listened to it once, but it's really good.
It is really good, and I'm excited.
If you like the last album that they put out, it's a successor to that, and definitely. I would say they are. I like I said, I've only been able to listen to it probably twice through. My dad was asking me for my opinion on some stuff.
Yeah.
But the other one I've been able to sit with longer, which I've come to really, really like it. But I think that this one is ultimately I will come to really, really like it as much, because I had similar, I felt about the same about the other one the first time I heard it, and then I came to really dig into it even better. But it's really heavy. I'm a less heavy guy, more melodic guy. But it's definitely so well done. He sounds so great. It's awesome, and I'm really excited that my babies, I'm hoping all four of them will be able to be at the show this Friday.
Oh shit! Hold on.
So great.
Hey, sorry. I somehow this YouTube page started playing.
Don't play YouTube page.
I was like, where's that other Jesse coming from?
Yeah, but I was gonna say that I love my parents are in New York right now, and they're spending a lot of.
I'm just closing that tab. I'm just
close that tab.
It's
my
gone.
Parents are in New York right now, and they have been spending a lot of time with my babies, and it feels like I'm there, and I love it.
Oh, that's
so,
awesome. That's awesome. Nice. Yeah, I saw your dad rehearsing the other night, and it's funny because I walked into the studio and they were in the other room playing, and it was loud, and I was like, ooh, I think I'm gonna have to pull out my earplugs for Friday. And I went in there, it was loud and it was heavy, and I had heard the singles that were released, but it was good hearing the material. And you know what, by today and tomorrow I'll be excited to see it. But what I'm really excited for is, I grew up on Twisted, and I heard there were a couple of Twisted numbers that were going to pop up, so I'm excited to see those. And I don't usually get excited about this stuff. I'm not an excitable guy.
I really stand by, Dee Snider is one of the greatest live performers of all time, and all people who have not been in the audience for a Twisted Sister performance or a Dee Snider performance of any kind, they can't judge. The people who have been, they'll tell you, oh man, he's great, because at the end of the day, a great performer is a great salesman, and he doesn't need to have the catalog of Ozzy Osbourne or whoever to be able to sell you on what he does. And that's really like the biggest thing that I've learned from him as a performer, like just how to sell what you're doing. And man, does he sell.
He's the man. That Snider charisma. And Angela says the new single was amazing. Yes.
Yeah, it's fun. I like it. It was one of my favorites from the
I had a great week. So now it's your turn to tell me about
it's my turn.
Week. Yeah.
My week was, let me say to everybody out there who hasn't been having the greatest time, like I haven't not been having a great time, I can't say. Like generally speaking, the bulk of it is all positive, but energetically, like, oh my God, I've been like so getting my ass kicked. And just sort of little things being sprung on me that were like,
yeah, you were talking about Mercury retrograde earlier.
Yeah. So like, for those of you who are like getting kicked around a little bit by the energy of things, like I literally felt like I had like somebody poking me in the center of my chest for 2 days, which was really like driving me nuts. And it's like muscles in my chest, but it was like some sort of stress or whatever. But I got through it. I feel like a lot of us are in the throes of releasing old energy and for an upgrade that's happening on the planet. And some of the astrology people talk about these things that I listen to. There are some people who talk about energy a little bit more in these ways that I'd like to have on so they could kind of explain better what I'm talking about.
And you know what, look, obviously our audience, everybody, Meow Tonight not done till 6:22. Everybody knows what's going on with the retrograde that listens to this show.
Yeah, and just like the energetic pressure. So I've been meditating a lot and stuff, and but also I've been like doing a lot. I've been feeling like motivated to get a lot done, and I've been doing a decent amount of things. My girlfriend is awesome. I should call her my steady, more official. My steady. She's so
a good word, girlfriend. I like girlfriend better.
She's just so awesome.
Steady sounds like
at like just getting shit done and kind of being tasked very much like I was when I was younger, but so much of the experience that I had was like I just sort of destroyed myself in this way, and then like I had to get some real perspective on what I was doing wrong in order to go back to it. Now I've been more motivated to get back to like being able to get some things done. So it's lovely to have somebody by my side who's, really that's her natural instinct.
Definitely see. Yeah, I can totally see that. And I agree. You know what? I mean, listen, you have to love yourself and find yourself and all of these things, but it's so wonderful to find a partner and be with somebody who brings out the best in you, who you can bring out the best in, and you can go on a little bit of a journey together,
Well,
while you're human.
I had a spiritual message about her of like, that she was, a gift to me in some fashion,
I definitely see
a
that,
compliment. And I thought, but like, I haven't, done, like, I haven't like executed all of the things that I know. Like, I haven't been able to like prove them out. And they said to me, You can't have loving support while you do it. And I was like, well, that's,
I thought I was your loving support.
That's nice. Well, you do. Well, I have a lot of loving support, and you know what?
Yes,
sometimes when
do.
you say
you
it, sometimes when we make statements like that, we make it exclusive, and it sounds like we're not talking about other people. I have plenty.
No. And I didn't mean to jump in on Julie's thunder. Julie is amazing.
Yeah, but you know, a relationship, you know, more active, you know, participation in, you know, your journey is really important. But anyway, so I've been like feeling more motivated, and I've been getting things done, and I've been letting myself, like, you know, put more things on my plate. But at the same time, as I've been doing that, a few things that are old problems for me have been coming back, and you know, one of them that applies in my life in a lot of ways is I'm like a little bit of a hot potato guy. You know, like we were talking earlier, but my situation in the studio wasn't done yet, and you were trying to talk to me, and I was trying to finish getting the situation in the studio settled, and you were like, "What? You're not listening to me?" And it has nothing to do with that at all. I'm very hot potato when like there's something to be done, and I kind of have anxiety until I love you too, baby. Julie's in the chat.
There she is. Julie, what's up, Julie?
What up, baby? I get anxiety from like knowing that I have something to do, especially like if I'm not ready to do it. I'm like, okay, I got something to do, but I'm not ready to do it. And like I can kind of kick that down the road, but that does, the moment there's something there for me to do, it weighs on me.
I got you.
And then additionally, if there's something that's there for me to do that I believe I can do right now, those things really weigh on me. Like if I can't get to something that I could have done yesterday and I should have done yesterday, like that stuff, like I grill myself for that stuff so badly. And I was, like I said, I've really been processing a lot of things this past week, and it's been really good. A lot of really positive realizations for me. And I sat down to listen to some sort of, it was something on magic, and it was about like you know, because so much of magic is just like the speaking things into existence. It was a lot on visualization. I ended up meditating, and I was visualizing all these things that I wanted. It was talking about how powerful visualizations are, being able to see myself with my children, being able to see things, you know, in some semblance of the way I would like.
Yep.
So, but before I did it or after I did it, I clicked on the comments, as I like to do sometimes, just to see like what people are reacting to a thing. And the very first comment, and I'm not going to get it right, but it was some summation to the thing of, don't rush. Your body interprets it as fear and causes anxiety and makes you block what your energy is, what you want. And I thought, ooh, I'm kind of always like, you know, like right then I was literally sitting down to meditate for a second and like have a minute, because I did a bunch of work, but I was like, what do I do next? Like, let me like chill out and like wrap my head around what I should work on. But it was with a bit of like, I have a bunch of things to work on, but I don't know which thing I need to work on. Let me relax for a second and try to like figure it out. And then I'm going, oh man, I'm totally rushing, not rushing, but like, you know, making it like I'm in a rush to get the things done. Like I want to get it done. Like the hot potato thing. I can't hold on to this
I got
thing.
you. Well, we got some advice from Meow Tonight, who I don't know who's Meow Tonight. Do we know who that is? The Twitch. She's coming in from Twitch. So or he.
Oh, nice. I learned recently to eat the frog. Wake up and don't be most dreaded task first.
Don't be most dreaded task first. Yeah, I'm not really sure. I think it's supposed to be wake up and take care of the most dreaded.
You got to take care of the most dreaded task first.
That's what I think it's trying to say. Right.
Yeah. Well, I think at the end of the day, really, what the higher thing would be here, Meow Tonight, is to change any sort of thought that there is a dreaded task, that they are dreaded tasks.
I like that. Oh,
and
she's saying do. So maybe she's saying don't do the most dreaded task first. But I like where you're going. You're saying,
yeah, but I think it's about exactly. And that was the thing of like, if you're thinking you're in a rush, you're sending all of these messages to your body that there's not enough time. And that was very much something that I felt as like a child. Like when I came to understand that people felt a certain way about people who were related.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt you for 1 second because
yes,
I just got a bape on the phone, and I don't see our guest in the back room. Did you send?
I told her to come. Yes, she's got the link, and I told her to come around 22. I mean, around like 15 or 20 minutes in, so she should be here any minute.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I hope you got your thoughts still.
And I'll text her in a second. But yeah, you
lost your thoughts.
No. Well, I did a little bit. The energy of
I was like, oh no.
The energy of you rushing, is connecting you straight. Now I remember what I was talking about. So when I was younger, I realized that celebrity, successful politician, rich children were viewed as having it easy, and like being handed things, and that really pissed me off. And I did like I've actually really sabotaged myself in lots of ways over the years. At the time when I was really rough about that, because like I did not want to feed that idea. I didn't like that idea.
Right.
And I had this idea when I was younger, and for whatever it was worth, that if I became successful really early, like I was like 16, I think was because that was like a lucky number for me. I'm like, if I can become famous by the time I'm 16, I will have proven that it's not just my father.
Right.
And not that I ever wanted fame. I just wanted to be respected like he was, because I could feel that there was like a differential between like how he was treated and how I was treated. And I just want to be treated equal, which I hope that doesn't sound arrogant, like that. Oh, you want to be treated like a rock star? I just wanted to be treated equal. Like I felt like the world was not, that this isn't right. Like we're all equal. Like I don't like how this is making me feel like I'm not as equal as my father. I am equal. We're all equal.
Right.
And and that was very much where I was at. And when I turned 16 and 17, like I started to go into like a bit of like a tizzy about it. Like I was behind, and I thought that I had put those things away, and maybe I did in many ways, but in the idea of just kind of like rushing and feeling like I have a hot potato whenever some new idea comes into my world, or my sights, I'm like, oh, I got to do that now.
Right.
And I start freaking myself out. So this message just came to me really, I think, boom, right at the right time. And I hit me not to rush. And I kind of took like a deep breath, like it really connected with me. And I went, all right, I'm going to get to these things. Like it's not too much. I can do all these things. And I've been doing that ever since. Like today, it was funny. I listened to some spiritual thing this later in the day, and they were like, rest is very important right now. And I was like,
you gotta relax every once in a while.
Well, and I was resting.
Can't always be like,
I was resting today, and then like talking to my girlfriend a little bit, like just in the morning, like I didn't do like that much, even though I did get to some things. And I like talking to my girlfriend, I'm like feeling like guilty about it. And then later when I'm listening to the spiritual thing, I'm like, it's all good. Like you're gonna get there. Everything's gonna be all right. And I see that I'm so used to really just almost it distracts me. I used to have a lot of things that I like to do, and those things would break up me working and like being really like concerned about things. But I care. Right. I care so much about all the things that I do.
I know
and I, without like things to distract me, which I'm like doing better these days, like reading comics again and watching shows that I like and things like that.
Giving yourself some time.
Yeah, but when I'm just like stringing things together with work, it's like it's so overwhelming to me, because I really like just put myself through this like brain ringer and burn myself at both ends until like I finish the thing. And then usually speaking, I'm still healing a little bit, and I've made myself a little tight, and, so I'm trying to
you always do that.
Is Sinderrella in the back?
Yes, I was going to say two things. I was going to say Mackenzie is Meow Tonight, so that's who we're talking to. I didn't know Mackenzie was even on Twitch, because she usually.
You know what? My phone has somehow died. Let's see.
Oh no. Well, we do have our beautiful guest in the back room waiting.
Oh, we do.
To introduce her. Yes. You want to tell us anything, or should I just bring her on?
So me and Sinderrella clicked, through a mutual friend of ours many years ago. Since from Montana originally. She's a hip hop artist and a host. She does like a lot of hosting, like I do. For like little with award show, red carpets or whatever it might be.
Yeah,
and
we'll look at the
and
Instagram and stuff.
Sin is like super, like one of the most credible artists that I know. She has a really unique spiritual journey and personal journey, and it's very much in her lyrics, the way she tries to live her life and view things, and it's so much in line.
I totally love
the live stream of consciousness. And
yes.
When we started thinking about bringing people on the show, Sin was one of the first people that I thought I wanted to have on. So
totally
without further ado, let's get on my girl. And
awesome. Here she comes. Well, before she comes, Meow Tonight is not Mackenzie. I'm reading these chats all wrong. See, that's the original Ken's. That's Mackenzie. So Meow Tonight, I don't know.
What's up, Meow?
Meow is.
Check it out, Meow.
But let's talk about Meow later, and let's bring on this wonderful guest. Here she is, Sinderella.
Hey,
hello.
How's it going?
Blessings
to you. Welcome.
How you doing, sweetie?
I'm good. How are you, darling?
I'm doing very well. I got to go see Sin perform just the other night and kick some ass over at club in
West Coast
around Hollywood or whatever. And she was awesome as always. How you doing, sweetie?
I'm good. I'm doing really good. And I appreciate you coming to that show. It was a great show. It was a great show the other night.
Yeah, it seemed like you had a lot of friends.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Sometimes it coalesces, and actually I gotta thank my girl Julie again, like talking about getting me out. Like I was in a little bit of a funk. She's like, let's go see your friend, because I had sent her the poster. I was like, hey, we should do this if if we're not doing anything or whatever. And she's like, let's go see your friend. So we went out and it was great. And I saw you had a whole bunch of people show up, and that all, I find that always happens. It'll be like, can be disappointing, some things that you're doing, then all of a sudden it's like, yo, where did all these motherfuckers come from?
Yeah. That's great. That's good energy. Everybody brings more and more collective energy,
Yeah.
So Julie, one of our first questions that we like to ask our guests is, what does consciousness mean to you?
To me?
Yes.
Well, consciousness is the ultimate source of energy, the source. So I think that consciousness is a self-aware stream of energy that flows through everything.
That's a very good, very good encapsulating definition of it, and a way to call everybody God without saying it.
Hey, I mean, stay on your gods, And God is.
Yeah, it is, and I think people struggle with that sometimes. That notion that, and it's sweet that everybody wants to be humble, but I think we really overcorrect on the being humble thing. It's easy sometimes for us to look at the flowers and go, oh, look at God. God's so beautiful. A little harder for us to look in the mirror and go, oh, we're so beautiful.
Right.
And we're all expressions of that same thing. All the consciousness is that. And yes. And I had this bit of, realization of it being the observer, the quiet part of you that is watching you, when you're like, I can't live with myself sometimes, and that's like this other part of you. The observing part of you is like what the hell, man? Like, I don't like what's going on in this body and this mind all the time, because there is this quiet observer at all times. And really that is the most conscious part, which is in everything, consciously observing through its own, level of consciousness, whatever that may be. So, I love that answer. We'll have to make a little clip.
Yeah, that was interesting to me. It was almost like not what is consciousness as related to self. It was almost like just more general. What is consciousness? That was a great answer. No, I like it.
Yeah, Taylor McKinnon in the chat says, we are the gods of our own worlds, and that's very much a thing too. We learn of creating our own reality, and that be for all intents and purposes, you're the god of your own world. Like, if you want to think of it that way, you're creating your reality. So you better think of yourself in that fashion, because you've got the power to topple your own empire if you don't realize it.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing today, I think. Like people not feeling exactly what you're saying. People like you, people like me, people like Sinderrella, people like the people that watch the show. There's this element of self-love, that you've got to understand. And I think people who do understand that see a lot of other people struggle with it, and it's not so difficult. It's just a simple thing. And I guess that's what this show is about, talking and hoping to inspire people to realize, like, you're the driver of the vehicle, and that's again, that's what's happening with some of the people that are giving us feedback. That's what's happening with you. That's what's happening with me.
So, Sin,
we've been
when did you
with the ability to? I was just gonna say, we've been gifted with the ability to think of something in our mind and then create it into the third dimensional, or whichever dimension we're currently actually existing in, bringing it into this dimension. So, we are a reflection of the ultimate source of creation in that way.
Absolutely. And now, where did your spiritual journey start? And where did you go from typical whatever person living life to, oh, wait a second, I'm starting to think there's a little bit more going on here? How did you go from point A to point B?
So, I grew up, I had a lot of family that was Mormon. And so I was like, yeah, that's not my jam at all. I didn't really understand how it was less old than our country. Like, the religion itself was less old than our country. So that kind of was a throw off. There was a lot of hypocrisy, I noticed. And my grandma, who was the biggest Mormon advocate of all, was such a racist and so prejudiced. And I didn't fuck with that at all. So didn't get along with my grandma. Didn't really I wasn't appealed by the God aspect that they were teaching there. But it didn't turn me off entirely. It made me, it kind of put me in this stance of I'm not really sure what's going on, so I'm not going to form an opinion that's uneducated. And that was an early lesson that I've tried to apply to everything in life. Is like, why would I form an opinion about something that I'm not educated about? So I try to catch myself, if I do tend to speak on something, but my go-to answer usually is like, oh, I don't know anything about that, or and that's kind of tying into the astrology aspect. Whenever I discuss astrology with people, I always, when people are like, oh, I don't believe in that, my first question is, oh, how educated are you on it? And that can turn so many conversations immediately, because most people
that's a great response.
Well, I'm actually not educated on it. And then I go, well, I encourage you not to form opinions on things you're not educated about. Just take a stance of unknowing. And then that's opened up people to actually have conversations, realizing that they don't, they formed, an opinion uneducated. So
that's such a great approach.
That's kind of my stance, right? Yeah, I mean, it seems to be, it's good for me too, like it's checkmate, so
yeah, no, I'm gonna totally use that. Yeah, totally. I mean, it works in so many situations.
Yeah.
So continue, Sin.
So I basically, what's that?
Continue.
Oh yeah, no. So I basically, when I moved to LA, I kind of, I was out on my own, late teens, and I went through the process. I was homeless for 11 months. I went through, I went through all that, and it was astrology I started getting into first. I was always, I was always drawn to, my sign and the uneducated horoscope, right? I was like, oh, that's cool, fun. I didn't really know much about it. When I started actually learning a little bit about the tie in, basically the mathematical tie into the angles of the stars and the planets, and then understanding that everything is energy, which I don't know how, if the horse or the carriage came there first, but just understanding that everything was energy, and that there was an energized effect of each of these bodies depending on where they were. Like, I was like, okay, that's really fascinating. I really dove into my own sign, and I found some really good books that were that had good information, not just kind of commercial fluff, which would be like the secret language books. I think they're great. It's a trilogy, and I actually think when me and you first became friends, I had introduced you to those books: The Secret Language of Birthdays, The Secret Language of
I seem to remember you showing me some cool stuff.
And relationships. Yeah, I had those 3 books. And so first I went into my sign, and I was like, I could really identify that there were distinctions in certain traits that, as we all have. We're all human, so we all have the ability to have the same traits, but there's things that were more pronounced in me that weren't in others, and I could see that was really accurate. And then I could understand that it depended on if you were vibrating high or low. If you're vibrating high, you would be exuding the positive traits of that sign. If you're vibrating low, you would exude the low quality traits of that sign. And that's why some of those traits might not apply to you, because you maybe don't vibrate on that level either way. So once I started to understand that, I was like, okay. So then you turn to the people closest to you: roommates, lovers, friends, family, siblings, any of that, people really well. And so you can analyze the information against someone you already have research on, life research. You've been around them, so you already have the research. You know who they are. And so then you start applying the kind of cross-referencing, like the accuracy. And then it was like, wow, this is crazy. And so I found myself kind of diving through the signs kind of one at a time. Like, I'd be like, I'm a Taurus gang. Woo. But I would understand different signs. Angela was there from that. Angela, one of our signs, I would kind of master that sign, and then I would just keep folding in a new sign that I would like try to learn more and more about. And I found it was like the key to coexisting with people, because I'm like, okay, this person is kind of temperamental by nature. Maybe not temperamental. That might be like, I'll use me for example. Like, I don't deal with change at all. Well, it's just really hard for me if it's not done right. Although I'm somebody who's adapting constantly. We're always growing and changing. So to say that is ironic. But when I tell people dealing with me, I say, look, I don't deal with rapid change. So if there's a change that's abrupt, approach it by telling me that. Be like, yo, you're not going to like this. There's a big change in the plans. That alone, that just prefacing helps me roll with the punch. Like, okay,
process
like
the energy. Yeah.
And so someone knowing that about me and applying it, it just makes things so much smoother in communication. And then vice versa, if somebody loves to lead the way but doesn't ever really care where you're going, that's a Leo thing. Okay, Leos love to be the leader. They don't care. They just want to, like, as long as they, like, we know, they know where they're going, they're great leaders. So tell them where to go and let them lead the way. And that it's great. And that can take the pressure off someone who doesn't want to lead the way, but definitely wants to be going in a certain direction, certain things like that. So once that became really applicable to me, that made me think, okay, there's something for this to be so accurate and actually tie into us as humans. There's something greater here that ties us together. There has to be some sort of interconnecting energy source. And that's what led me to source, aka spirituality, God, Allah, self, whatever, the most high power. the ultimate source of consciousness.
Right. I call it source too. I call it creative source. I always had, I think Jesse and I had this conversation. I always had a problem with the word God, just because there was so much personification attached to it, you know, that it was, you couldn't get past that to get to the concept of it. But now, for me, now you say God, and I get the concept of what it is, not the person, you know.
Part of the,
but it still bothers me when they say he. What's that?
When you cannot get rid of something, you have to slander it and discredit it. That's why astrology, you know, it's like, if you fluff it, they couldn't get rid of astrology, but they could fluff it. They could dumb it. They could make it commercial, and like, you have to weed through to find out the real meaning of it. And I feel like that's a big thing with God, because in some healing practices that I've done, I also was uncomfortable with the word God for the same reasons. And I find a lot of people who are in a place of unknowing and trying to figure out what they feel spiritually feel the same way. And what I also found is, in these moments of healing, if you will, like hitchhikers or energies that don't belong to a vessel, the words "you are a child of God" would come out of nowhere and would be an essential tool. So that made me reevaluate how powerful the word God might actually be, and maybe that is the reason of diluting it. And
I've come around,
you know.
I've come around on the word God myself. No, I agree with her. You know, I've found a real resonance in the word for all intents and purposes. Like, you know, when I use it, I feel something. I don't think of God the way that I think people did for a long time. A guy in a cloak and a beard. Like, you know, that's not what I think of when I think God. But the word is cool. Are you losing connection there, Sin?
Uh-oh. Looks like
are we back?
She's back.
Do you want to disconnect and reconnect, Sin?
No, I think she's good.
Or can we hear her? I see no sound though.
Oh, she's muted now.
She's muted.
Maybe let me unmute.
Oh, I muted it. I was
okay. All right. She's back. It seems like we've got you back, or she's frozen right now. Oh, and she's muted again. Oh,
nope.
Muted again.
There you go.
Wait. All right, she's on.
Here she is.
Like I never left.
She's back.
So, you know, it's interesting what you said of, you know, us all being connected. You know, I used to have this idea, and this will just take like a second for me to try to explain this, but I mean, it ties to what you're saying. You know, that essentially that if I pulled my arms in enough, and if I lowered my voice to the right volume, and I tweaked this and I tweaked that I could be the right thing for everyone, and I would no longer be like upsetting anybody. And you know, I always generally just wanted to be somebody that was additive, you know, to any situation. And you know, not just to say like I like people to like me, because it kind of implies like, oh, I want everybody to, like, I want people to feel like I'm supportive, like I like they were glad I was there, like that's really like that's like, I want to be a pillar of the situations that I'm in, or otherwise why be there, like, you know, like, and it means something to me to have a meaningful contribution. But in doing that, or wanting to do that, what I would say is, if I was a cog in a clock, I pulled in all my teeth to be more neutral. And at the same time, I couldn't resist being myself sometimes, and it would come out, and I would be like upset because like I was having that effect that I didn't want to have. I just wanted to have this neutral effect. But in my spiritual journey, I realized that we were all supposed to be that unique person that does rub people the way they rub people, and making peace with who you are in that chart, you know.
Dude, that's another t-shirt.
Because
you rub people the way you're supposed to rub people, like something like that. That was good.
But they all, you know, like, we do all kind of coalesce next to each other. And what you're saying about studying the horoscopes and going, oh wow, I see how people are and how people need to be worked with, and granted, you know, on a certain level you try and overcome your things because a lot of people are too weak to come down to your level. Like I used to have a little bit of trouble with my ex-wife when I would ask her to do something for me to help me do what she needed me to do, and I'd be like, all right, well, do this, and that'll really help me to do that. And she would maybe do it once, and then the second time she would do it and yell at me for having to be a part of me learning a new thing that she wanted me to learn. And I was just like, I'm telling you, this doesn't come naturally to me, and I need you to help me get there, like, because it isn't my nature. And if we could be more aware of the way that we're all supposed to fit together, and that we're supposed to accept all of these different energies, and finding peace with the energy that we are, finding peace with the energy that other people are, and learning how to get along. That's the thing. It's not about us all sanitizing ourselves into oblivion. We have to learn how to get along and how to communicate better. Yeah, exactly. So we need thank you, Sin, for coming on the show.
Everything
you're saying is wonderful.
Amazing. So I'm feeling like with all of the musical prowess that we have collectively through all of our guests and Sin and you, and I think we should come up with another We Are the World. Right?
Oh yeah.
There was so much good energy in that, right? I mean,
well, we can just record a live stream of consciousness. The live stream.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's a perfect platform for it.
I've been to the studio. They recorded that, and it was pretty magical.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's very the Jim Henson studio right there.
So as you came into your own with all this stuff, and started doing astrology and looking at yourself, what was the biggest thing that you learned about yourself? Is there any major obstacles that you would say you've been able to overcome personally, just from understanding yourself better and accepting yourself better?
Yeah, never ending process, never ending balancing act there, but I definitely learned, the things to tell people around me that, like, hey, I preface this for me so that I can take it and we can, so it can be a smooth transition, like the changes in direction and certain things. And then through that, I've also learned to catch myself. Like I can identify when I'm upset because that's what's upsetting me, not the actual thing. It's the fact that
you didn't get prefaced.
My bull nature, right, is like running in a direction, and you've just grabbed a horn and turned me left. And even though like that's just what it is, it like they ain't even no reason to sit and talk about why we got to go left, because left needs to be gone. But I can identify that it's the nature of the change than it is that somebody did it, and certain things like that. I also have learned to remove people from my life because they are triggers to things, and they don't have respect when you tell them, hey, like I can't tolerate that kind of thing. Or to me, this behavior, has this effect on me, and they either use it against me or ignore it completely. I'll just remove people from my life because I understand my nature. I'm not going to sit and fight it forever anymore, but at the same time, there's moments where your nature will not have the best outcome, but it'll be the right thing, like for instance, I'm actually caught on this fence a lot where I'll say something that nobody wants to hear, but it's what needs to be said, and it rubs everyone wrong, and all that. In those moments, you don't cater, you don't be insensitive, but you don't over cater to sensitivities, because sometimes your nature is to be, like you said, the rubbing force, to get,
and a people pleaser.
Directions need to be changed.
Yeah, being a people pleaser, like that's your nature. It's important because you were the one who was there, who has that nature. And if you went against your nature, well, then the whole room doesn't benefit from the turn. And what I've learned so much of, like, to think, you know, when you start to talk about like past lives and things like that, it's like, you know, say you think you're a famous person or something like that. You know, there can be like this idea of height or stature within the thing, but we're all so interconnected. I can't move forward without you. You can't move forward without me. You know, I need my brother to take this step for me. I need my girlfriend to take this step for me. I need Sin to take this step for me in order for me to be able to take the next step. And
Right.
that's really that harmonious thing that we don't realize. We have to be us, because it's in the being us that leads us down the path of the better growth and the mixing of all of these souls, because we are meant to, I think, balance out a little bit more and be less polarized in the directions that we are and become to a more neutral place. But it's a gradual thing as we come together and we mix around and we're influenced by one another in the right way. And we can't just stop up that flow of energy. We have to let that be, and we have to let ourselves be. That's why we have to freaking accept ourselves first, you know, before we you know, what does it say that like somebody who doesn't love themselves can't love somebody else, or you know, hurt people. You know, you really do have to take care of this so that you can not inadvertently go out into the world and be really unconscious and hurting everybody. Now I'm just going to steamroll to continue the conversation because I want to ask you one more question.
Janet says, I love her. Keep on.
Oh yeah. Well, and I want to talk right now about Sin's music, and you know, my daughter and my daughter Logan and myself were actually in one of Sin's videos a little while back, and yeah, you know, we got Sin's SoundCloud. If we could get the link, Michael, to Sin's YouTube, it'd be great.
Okay.
And you should definitely go. What's that song called again that we were in the video for? Zombies, that's right. Yeah, you should check out on Sin's channel the Zombies video. You'll see me and Logan a few years ago when we did that. She was so excited to be a part of that. And you know, I just want everybody, her debut. She's such a little actress, and you know, that was just the beginning. There's more to come for Logan, I'm sure. But what is your ideology in terms of being a hip hop artist? You know, you and I have talked about this kind of stuff before, and I know you do have a number of things that you hope to get across when you are spitting your lyrics and, you know, writing your songs that are important to you, and I know they're all pretty spiritual, or at least I think so. So could you talk about that?
Accidentally usually, but yeah. So so my roots come from poetry and writing. So I used to win writing contests in elementary, and I had my first poem published when I was like 14, which was like, it was a poem about hating this girl and everything I hated about her, and you know, why is she so near, get out of my mirror. So it was a very, like, you know, at a young age, it was like diving into that self-image and like acceptance and all that. So but that's like where my roots come from. So when I actually didn't like I didn't really think I would get, I was a drummer for a long time, and I was a metalhead and I was into hip hop, but I never thought at like when I was super young, that I never thought about doing rap or hip hop because it wasn't around me. And one day, I mean, I started to be around it a lot, and then one day I was mad and I just started rapping, and something clicked with me because I have this crazy voice, and I I don't know. It was everything. It was like, oh, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to be. Like,
you felt it.
so
You felt it.
It just clicked. It was nothing ever felt like it was supposed to be. Like, it was just, you know, it was just like an alignment of all these thoughts and memories and stuff. It was like, woo. So, and that was it. And I just like turned around and was like, yeah, I'm a rapper. And you're like, what? You know, and that's how it started. And I set out to really one, be a student of hip hop and really understand and respect it. And I understood that as a white person that I am a guest, essentially. You know, obviously it's for everyone and it's by everyone at this point, but there's just a certain part of like, I know I respect and I understand where the culture comes from, and that for me to come into it, that I should really, really have the utmost respect and discipline, and doing it in a way that the people who did it before me could respect, and would respect. And so for me, it
You
was
look like you got
about
the style down.
and being
Oh
real.
yeah,
Like,
Sin's very stylish.
yeah, I don't have
Totally.
makeup on right now, but I got a cute little.
Oh, you look
I got a
beautiful,
fit
and
on.
you,
But
not only do you look beautiful, but you're totally radiating that energy,
so
which is, that's what
I
we're
had
all
to do
about here.
my sun and my moon outfit for y'all, but
I know. I was
but
explain
honestly, I
just the spirituality behind this outfit.
it's got the sun and the moon, it's the dope patterns. It's got it all. The colors, you got the airs. Okay. Enough with the fashion.
Oh, nice.
But that's the fun human part, right? Isn't
Awesome.
it fun when you what I love is when you start to see people get comfortable and wear whatever they want. You see all sorts of, you see capes and you see all sorts of fun stuff. And this is it. Like, we're all just grown kids playing in our treasure chest of clothes. Like, it just depends on how much you allow yourself to dive into that youth. So, you know what I mean? And what it is you like now.
We love it.
So
We love it.
Sinderrella, that is a powerful message. You are changing my mind about fashion.
You should wear what you would wear.
I mean, I do that with my tattoos. That's been my outlet.
Yes.
So Angela's asking, have you heard of Big SMO? Angela's saying you might enjoy, but you never know.
Big Smo?
Big Smo.
I don't think I have.
I just saw SMO because it was like all caps. So.
Well, you may enjoy Big Smo.
Well, you may enjoy. Check it out. That's just one of our.
One thing I do want to say is I never really set out to be spiritual in my music. It just inadvertently was what I was talking about. And so after you make a few songs and you're like, I'm going to the YouTube categories and it's saying, pick 3 topics. I was like, the third one, I guess, because I did rap and hip hop, and I was like, I guess spiritual. I'm like, I don't know. And that's kind of how it got attached to me, but it is real. Like, I did a dab song, if you know dabbing weed. I did a dab song for Christmas, and I ended up talking about the financial aspects that cause family rifts from buying presents and teaching kids to chase materialistic stuff. And I didn't mean to. I didn't even mean to. It's just what came out in my pen when I was writing. So I just find it funny because it's just, I really just stay true to what I know, what I've learned, what I've seen, and what I believe and what I'm thinking. And so much spiritual comes out of it. It's blessed in that.
It's great.
I can add, myself, I was an atheist. I used to tell people a lot for a while that I was an agnostic until I was 28, which is when I started socially drinking and smoking marijuana. And that was what began to open me up. And then when I did, I told everybody mushrooms for the first time, that lit a switch in me that reality was a lot different than I had been told, and we weren't really open to a conversation about the subtlety that I was realizing in that experience. But prior to that, I was as closed-minded as they come, I swear. And I remember just maybe 5 years ago listening to the Baptized by Fire music, which is my first band that was the beginnings of, was with my drummer Chris before he died, before my 21st birthday. So I'm like, some of these songs were written when I was 17 or something like that. And I listened to this whole album and I'm just like, my jaw's on the floor, realizing how spiritual it is. And literally no word out of place. Like what I thought it meant at the time and what I know it means now were a little different. But I was inadvertently, I still wrote just all this spiritual stuff. I couldn't even believe it. I mean, even the Phoenix, the Baptized by Fire was coming from that Phoenix, that idea of, reinvention of yourself. I was talking about reincarnation before I believed in reincarnation. And, and I was talking about it in energetic cycles. And I was also talking about astrology before I believed in astrology, the energetic cycles that we go through. And as we, come out of the one thing to the next. And it's amazing, when you're on this path and drawn to it, so much of our early days can be littered with lots of things that we look back and we go, wow, some of this was always there, and I just didn't know what was happening.
Well, I'm definitely inspired to go check out some of Sin's music and the video with you in it. Of course, I'm going to check it out now. I didn't know that existed.
On what Jesse just said, can I chime in a little?
Yeah. This will be the last thing, and then we'll wrap up the show.
Sorry. It's what's funny is I remember in that journey, kind of having a part in that, and I remember early on, I told you, I said, I said, even though we don't know each other that much, you're one of my best friends. And you were kind of weird about it at first because we didn't know each other that well. Yeah. And then years down the road, it's like that was just really what it was. So it was always a little bit there that kind of is funny to me.
And, I thank you for that. I think I said that to Julie the other day, my girl, that was like sort of our introduction. And I said, it's funny, actually, because I've done that a million times the other way. Right. And it always breeds a little bit of a thing. But you know what? I realized something. I don't know if I told you this, but I had a misalignment in me before when me and Patty got serious. I had this thing where if I felt like too close to a girl, I tended to push them away automatically. Like one of my other best friends, Mackenzie, was somebody that I met when I was like a teenager when me and Patty were dating, and we should have stayed friends, and we were really good friends immediately, and like we connected the same way you and I did. But I was just immediately like, I don't, like impropriety, like I shouldn't, temptation or something. But it was all because I was misaligned in my relationship and not feeling right in my relationship in so many ways. So, that was like a really wonderful thing actually for me. Like when I came out of the relationship and realized that and made peace with that, like I get along with a lot of women. Like I want to feel like I can have women who are friends, and like that's not a thing that's sex or like that's not something I have to worry about like with myself or with others. Like I'm at peace with being somebody who because I'm kind of feminine, so my energy isn't super. I'm not macho, by nature, even though I'll put that kind of stuff in my art and I know how to be that kind of person, but I'm really more soft by nature. So me and women tend to get along, a little bit more. So and I need those relationships in my life. I have so many really great friends, who are women like Sin, and I'm much the better for having those relationships. So don't block yourself from having relationships with the other sex. Just figure out how to balance yourself if other things are getting in the way. Anyway, Sin, it was wonderful having you on the show. I'm so excited. I knew you were going to be a wonderful guest, and we'll probably have you on again in the future. I was thinking that we might do some sort of musical thing on here in the future. Cool, We've got my buddy Johnny Nall coming on next week, and just the three of us alone, we could do a cool little show like which is how me and Michael met, doing a music and spiritual show a little while back, and I just started thinking about doing it as I was thinking, Sin's coming on the show. We should bring her back and do some music. So maybe we'll do that in the future.
And then I thought of the We Are the World thing. That's what made me think of.
Yeah. So. But please check out SinDerella's YouTube and support my girl, friend of the show. Should be a friend of yours too. And support the Rams Network. Thank you to everybody who has donated to our channel on Twitch. 20% goes to the Rams Network, and the rest of it goes to us and keeping our show alive and us doing promos and things like that. We're actually putting Coolest Alive off to the side for a little while so that we can focus on the live stream of consciousness exclusively and promoting this show and really making it all about this, so that we can just make sure all the energy for this Twitch stream is going to this one place, because this is the thing that's most important to me and Michael. So until we get this thing settled, we're not going to do any additional things, because it's just a little extra work right now beyond what we can be doing. But we're so excited for the next couple weeks of guests. We'll be sharing our future calendar with you soon, and thank you to our guest Sinderrella for coming on. I so appreciate you being here, sweetie. Wonderful hanging out with you.
Me. I appreciate it. Make sure everyone knows to spell my name with 2 R's. 2 R's really.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah. Let me put it up here. Hold on.
Sinderrella.
Sin.
I'll spell it. Hold on.
What's the significance of the 2 R's?
Yeah,
Sin?
Tell us.
Honestly, it was early on. I used to be Sinderrella, the rapper, and everything was double R, double L, double E, double P. And then it just was even Sinderella. It's to that's not it either. Not the Sin space Derella.
That's not the way you do it.
Right. It was right before. It's been right the rest of the show.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
See,
that's how I
Yeah.
reached out to you on Facebook. So that's
Yeah.
I think.
So it's 2 hours like Rough Riders, RIP to DMX. Maybe that'll help people remember. But
when my band with
even,
Chris,
there's
is
not
that
even
not right?
There's not there's no capital. It's just
No
Sinderrella,
capital D.
one
All
word.
right. Let me get it right for you. Hold on. Let me get it right.
No capital, Michael.
It's such an issue for people, and it really messes up my search.
No, listen. You know what? I when people ask me what I prefer to be called, I tell them, and then it's an issue,
Yeah.
But they don't ask me. I'm like, whatever. You call me what you want.
My band with Chris when I was a teenager was Blaze and Blazed, and we basically just kept having the exact same problem with it. They'd be like, Blade, blazes, like it was amazing the things that would come out of people's mouths, and sometimes we'd get there and it would be like up on the marquee. Blade,
Blazer,
not Blade. Like, and we shouted it at you on the phone 5 times.
Right.
Blazed. They're like, Blade. No. That's the word. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us on another fabulous edition of the live stream of consciousness. Thank you, Sin, for joining us to the end of the show. And thank you, everybody who's been hanging out in the chat, sending us your comments, sending us your love. We will see you next week when we've got Johnny Now, psychic and musician, joining us on the show. Peace.